Well, good evening. I'm live from a different place today. I think my camera looks like it's a little fuzzy. I know my face has gotten fuzzy, but I've decided I'm not just going crazy, letting it go during this closure. Where picture of baby Stella when she was a little bitty, and of course she's hung up something behind it on top of it. It's above her bed, but please wait while we try. Oh, so it looks like my connection is unstable. They're trying to reconnect. Let's see what happens. Looks like I'm back on here, so hopefully everybody saw it. Got a message from the YouTubes saying that. But anyway, today we're going to do something a little different. Instead of reading just a normal children's book, which I think I will read, How Many Stars in the Sky. I may read that probably later on this week. But today I'm going to do something different. I want to read the first two chapters of Freckle Juice, and then we'll let be continued. Then tomorrow we'll continue it. We'll finish it up tomorrow with the last three chapters. And maybe what I would like to do is possibly in the next some of the next books, probably move on to maybe reading something a little longer. So you can see this is only like 45 pages long. It's an older book. It's Freckle Juice by Judy Blume. If you look over in the chat, it says this is test number 262. Must be an older book because that test number is only 3 digits long. So seems like most of our tests are 6 digits. But anyway, that's what we're reading today. If you are new to this channel, just found me, I've tried to put some messages out there on the different social media sites. If you are new, please subscribe to this channel. I've got some things I'd like to do, like some ideas what I'd like to do with this thing. Once this whole closure thing is we kind of go back to normal, and once we go back to normal, I would got some ideas like taking this channel on the road. And unfortunately, right now I'm kind of stuck behind this old laptop or a desktop until I push those subscriber numbers up. So it would really help me out and help all of us out in this community to just please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the little bell, the notification icon up there, somewhere up there. Make sure you hit that so it'll let you know whenever I go live with reading stories, or you never know if we're going to do something crazy, or if I post something crazy. Like I do have something planned for Stella and I to do. But without further ado, let's begin the book of Freckle Juice. And actually, here comes Stella. She's going to be joining me, it looks like.
Yeah.
So,
Dad, I'm going to go outside.
She's going to go outside. So she's letting all of us know she's going outside. So in case anyone was wondering, means she's probably going to ride her bike. So here we go. She's not. Here we go. Freckle Juice. This book has a copyright date of 1971. So this book is actually older than Mr. Wesner here. Here we go. By a few years, too. Freckle Juice by Judy Blume. Chapter 1. And you see we've got some pictures there. Just some little sketch drawings. Andrew Marcus wanted freckles. Nicky Lane had freckles. He had about 1 million of them. They covered his face, his ears, and the back of his neck. Andrew didn't have any freckles. He had 2 warts on his finger, but they didn't do him any good at all. If he had freckles like Nicky, his mother would never know if his neck was dirty, so he wouldn't have to wash, and then he'd never be late for school. Andrew had plenty of time to look at Nicky's freckles. He sat right behind him in class. Once he even tried to count them. But when he got to 86, Miss Kelly called, "Andrew, are you paying attention?" "Yes, Miss Kelly," Andrew said. "Good, Andrew. I'm glad to hear that. Now, will you please pick up your chair and join the reading group? We're all waiting for you." Andrew stood up in a hurry. His reading group giggled, especially Sharon. He couldn't stand that Sharon. He thought she knew everything, or she thought she knew everything. He picked up his chair and carried it to the corner where his reading group sat. "You may begin, Andrew," Miss Kelly said. "Page 64. Andrew turned the pages in his book. 64. chapter 64. He couldn't find it. The pages stuck together. Why did Miss Kelly have to pick him? Everybody else already had their books open to the right page. Sharon kept giggling. She covered her mouth to keep in the noise, but Andrew knew what was going on. He finally found page 64, right where it was supposed to be, between pages 63 and 65. If he had his own freckles, he wouldn't have to count Nicky Lane's. Then he'd hear Miss Kelly when she called reading groups, and nobody would laugh at him. Later, when the bell rang, Andrew poked Nicky Lane. What do you want? Nicky answered, turning around. Here's some of the pictures of them sitting in their reading groups. Just like I said, some sketches. There's a picture of what's going on now. I was wondering about your freckles, Andrew said. Oh, yeah? What about them? Andrew felt pretty stupid. Well, how do you get them? What do you mean, how? You get born with them. That's how. Andrew thought that's what Nicky would say. Some help he was. Line up, boys and girls, Miss Kelly said. Time to go home now. Sharon, you may lead the girls. Andrew, you may lead the boys. Some luck. Just when he got to be leader, he had to stand next to Sharon. When they were in line, Sharon whispered to Andrew, Psst, I know how to get them. How to get what? Andrew asked. Freckles, Sharon said. Who asked you? I heard you ask Nicky about his. Sharon ran her tongue along her teeth. She was always doing that. Do you want to know how to get them? Sharon asked. Maybe, Andrew told her. It'll cost you 50 cents. I have a secret recipe for Freckle Juice, Sharon whispered. Yeah, when you look at that picture, she really does look like a know-it-all. Secret recipe? Uh-huh. Sharon's tongue reminded Andrew of a frog catching flies. He wondered if Sharon ever got a mouthful of bugs the way she opened her mouth and wiggled her tongue around. Andrew inspected Sharon's face. You don't have freckles, he said. Look close, Sharon said. I've got 6 on my nose. Big deal. A lot of good 6 will do. You can get as many as you want. 6 was enough for me. It all depends on how much freckle juice you drink. Andrew didn't believe Sharon for a minute. Not 1 minute. There was no such thing as freckle juice. Andrew had never heard of it before. Freckle juice? That seems odd. That night, Andrew had trouble sleeping. He kept thinking about freckle juice. Maybe the reason no one in his family had freckles was because no one knew the secret recipe. If they never even heard of freckle juice, then how could they have any freckles? It figured. Andrew didn't like the idea of paying Sharon for anything, and 50 cents was a lot of money. It was 5 whole weeks of allowance. Holy smokes, wow. But he decided that if Sharon's recipe didn't work, he'd ask for his money back. It was easy. The next morning, Andrew turned the combination to his safe bank to just the right numbers. 4 on top and 0 on the bottom. He took out 5 dimes. He wrapped them in a tissue and stuffed the whole thing in his pocket. He didn't have time to wash his ears or neck or anything. He wanted to see Sharon before the last bell rang. Bye, Mom, Andrew called. Andrew Marcus, wait a minute. His mother hurried over to him. She almost tripped over her long bathrobe. The curlers in her hair scratched Andrew's face as she checked his ears and neck. Please, Mom, can't we skip it just this once? Andrew begged. Miss Marcus stepped away from Andrew. She pointed a finger at him. Okay, she said. I'll let you go this time, but tomorrow I'm looking again. And Andrew, zip up your pants. Andrew looked down. Zippers were a pain. This afternoon, when you come home, I'll be next door. Mrs. Burrows invited me over to play cards. You come get the key for me, okay? Sure, Mom. Okay. Andrew raced to school. He could hardly wait to see the secret recipe. First, he'd look at it, and if it didn't seem any good, he just wouldn't pay. There he is, thinking about everybody without the freckles. Sharon was already at her desk when Andrew arrived. He went right over to her. "Did you bring it?" he asked. "Bring what?" She opened her eyes real wide. "You know what? The secret recipe for Freckle Juice." "Oh, that. I have it right here." Sharon patted her pocket. "Well, let's see it." "Do you have the 50 cents?" Sharon asked. "Sure, right here." Andrew patted his pocket. "I'm not going to show it to you until you pay," Sharon said. Andrew shook his head. "Oh, no. First, I want to see it." "Sorry, Andrew. A deal's a deal." Sharon opened a book and pretended to read. "Andrew Marcus," Miss Kelly said, "will you please sit down? The second bell just rang. This morning we'll begin with arithmetic. Nikki, please pass out the yellow paper. When you get your paper, begin working on the problems on the board." There's a picture of Andrew's mom talking to him, looking at him, make sure he washes his ears and neck. Andrew went to his seat. Then he took the tissue with the 5 dimes out of his pocket. He held it near the floor and aimed it towards Sharon. She sat in the next row. Sharon stuck out her foot and stepped on the tissue. Then she slid it over until she could reach it with her hand. She bent down and picked it up. Miss Kelly didn't notice. Sharon counted the 5 dimes. Then she took a piece of folded up white paper out of her pocket and threw it at Andrew. It landed in the middle of the aisle. Andrew leaned way over to pick it up, but he lost his balance and fell out of his chair. Everybody laughed except Andrew and Miss Kelly. And there it just shows you what they're doing. They're leaning over, getting it. I know when I was younger, that's kind of the way we'd kind of pass notes sometimes. Miss Kelly sighed. Oh, Andrew, what are you up to now? Bring me that note, please." Andrew picked up the secret recipe. He didn't even have a chance to see it. It wasn't fair. It cost him 50 cents for nothing. He handed it to Miss Kelly. She read it. Then she looked up at him. "Andrew, you may have this back at 3 o'clock. She put it in her desk. "I don't want this to happen again. Do you understand?" "Yes, Miss Kelly," Andrew mumbled. "Good. Now let's get that arithmetic done." Miss Kelly wasn't bad. Andrew decided she could have ripped up the recipe or sent him to the principal's office or even made him stand outside in the hall by himself. Andrew could hardly wait for 3 o'clock to come. He didn't bother counting Nicky Lane's freckles. Soon he'd have his own. When the second bell finally rang and the class marched down the hall, Andrew went up to Miss Kelly. She held the piece of white paper, and waved it at him. "Here's your note, Andrew. I have a feeling it's important to you, but from now on, you must pay attention in class." Andrew took the recipe from Miss Kelly. "After tomorrow, I won't have any trouble paying attention," he promised. "Just you wait, Miss Kelly. I won't have any trouble at all." Aha. And now we're to the part where I say, "To be continued." Tomorrow, we will finish this book up. So, what you need to think about now, this break, is what do you think is in the freckle juice? Do you think he can really get his freckles? I don't know. Let's find out. And have you ever kind of been try to get something you wish you had something that somebody else had? What was that? If you want, you can leave me a message in the comments, say something that like you kind of wish you were jealous of somebody else that they had. They probably weren't even jealous. They probably know you were jealous of it. I'm sure he did not know that Andrew was jealous of his freckles. Well, there's our story. Remember, tomorrow, 6:30, we will finish up Judy Blume's Freckle Juice. And for that, I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Remember, be safe out there. Try and cough in your like that in your arm. Unfortunately, I forget that in my hand. Although if I'm wearing, I kind of feel like if I'm wearing my shirt, I don't know, like a sleeveless shirt. I don't know if that works. But I'm just trying to follow the things they say. Social distancing. Make sure we're within 6 feet apart from everybody. Don't go where you see a lot of people. If you need to go to Walmart, that's fine. Go to the Walmart. Go to your grocery store. But if you see there's a lot of people in there, kind of steer away from them. Okay? Remember, and get outside and exercise. I know that's what Stella's doing. Well, on that note, everybody have a wonderful evening, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.